Me need one of them.
We are live. Hi, welcome.
Hi.
Yes, Trevell, we are live, and I know we're still in preparation mode. Got a little glitch here and there, but we are
Yeah.
here, and we'll be making the best of it. Still waiting on
Right.
our guests. I know they'll be joining shortly. But it's an awesome privilege to have you on the second episode of this program. But guess what? You are here because we've had a rebranding. So last week it was Fem Oasis, but this week it's Isha Oasis. So you
Isha.
are Isha Oasis. So you are definitely making history because you are on the first episode of Isha Oasis. Last week we had Lady Theresa, and wow, that was an awesome experience.
Yes, it
We have
was.
a welcome, welcome, welcome. So we have here this evening Trevell Duncan. And if you see the caption, you would see that she is a dental hygienist. She is a lot of things. She is a mother. She is a very inspirational person. I have been following this young lady. I can't put a time to it. Hi, Jacqueline. Nice having you. Thanks for joining. Right. So we have Trevell here with us, and she is a dental hygienist. She's a YouTuber. She is, I would say, a motivational speaker. She is pearly whites. Yes, she'll be talking to us ladies about our pearly whites. How important it is for us to take care of our oral health and maintain that smile. So yes, I want to tell you how I came to be associated with Trevell. We have never met in person, but I feel so close to this young lady. So she went
Yes. I
viral.
went.
She's a celebrity. Trevor went viral with a video she did, and I was so moved because you could tell that she is a humanitarian, a gentleman. You know, he was in distress. She went to his rescue. So instead of a damsel in distress, she was the one taking care of this knight, this young man, and I was very impressed, and I'm sure that thousands of people were impressed because she went viral because of that video where she was sharing her experience of helping a young man. And for some reason, I think I added her on Facebook, following her. I didn't know that she was a YouTuber. She has a channel inspired for purpose. So, Travell, thanks again. Welcome, guys who are joining. This is Isha Oasis. It's a place for women to escape from the desert of life. This is where you come to be inspired, motivated, and elevated. This is where you come to be crowned. So at this point, I want my ladies, and Lady Theresa is in the house. I want my ladies to just put on their crowns at this time. Put on your crown for me, ladies. Yay, because we are queens. And every time you come here, you need to be reminded. So, for those who may be wondering why the name changed from Femme Oasis to Isha Oasis, Femme in French is woman, but it also has another meaning that I really don't want to associate myself with. So, after contemplation, I decided to name Isha because Isha is the Hebrew word for woman. So, Lady Theresa said, beautiful smile, Travell. So, there you go,
Thank
shining
you,
already.
Isa.
Right. So, ladies, we want you to get so comfortable. Make sure you're sitting comfortably because this is where
Ooh.
you come to be cushioned and crowned. We want to boost your self worth. We want to boost your confidence. So, we'll be talking about pearly whites, as Jacqueline pointed out, but we want to hear from Trevell. I'm sure you want to know more about her. So, Trevell, can you go ahead and tell my guest who you are?
Okay. I must say thank you very much for having me here on this platform where you are supporting and empowering so many women. Good evening, ladies. My name is Trevell, as Hillet told you guys before. I am a mom times two of two beautiful boys. I am a dental hygienist. I also am a motivational speaker and an advocate for teenage women, at risk women, about, I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous. Yes, for teenage women and also at risk women. So I'm an advocate for gender based violence against women as well. And yes, that's just a little bit. I'm also a Christian, Seventh day Adventist. So that's me.
And a lot more because every time I go on her YouTube page, there's another surprise there. So, Lady Theresa, I think you guys should connect because she is a teen mom. And she did a video today, and I want to talk about it a bit because she was talking about self worth. She was telling her story. She had her first child at the age of 16. But listen to me, I was moved by her story because here is a young lady who left school in fourth form or 10th grade for I guess different countries call it different, but in high school, she was a senior and she left because she got pregnant. But and she spoke about going to the women's center. Lady Theresa. Lady Theresa has a program where she's partnering with the women's center. Right now, she has a project going on, and Trevell, she got back in the system, had went back to school 2 weeks when her son was 2 weeks old. I don't want to say too much because I want you guys to go check out that video. But what moved me is the fact that here is a young lady who all the odds were stacked against her because she has had this roadblock and she didn't allow it to hold her down. She got up, she completed high school in fine style with 9 CXC subjects, and Trevell qualified for 4 scholarships where she went on, studied biochemistry. That's it, Trevell. Correct me, because it's your story.
Yes, I started studying biochemistry because my dream was to become a pediatrician. However, that kind of got derailed because first semester at the time I only had one scholarship, which was through the NCB Foundation. And going to NCU to pursue biochemistry, we didn't have the financial resources at the time, so I had to drop out pretty much. And that's where I found my new love, dental hygiene.
Right.
Yes.
And guys, I'm sure you see her dazzling you with her smile. And
Ah,
sometimes in life, our smiles are taken away from us as women. I
yeah.
remember days when, for extended periods for that matter, that I didn't smile. And as women, we know that, that's the most, that's the best jewelry we can wear. That's what
Yeah.
greet people. That's what it tells so much about us. And here we are. We're going to talk about oral health, guys, in the second half of our interview. But we want to touch self worth because, as I said, Trevell did her video that I watched today, and she was speaking about self worth. She was empowering young ladies. And she's going to be talking to our ladies tonight about the importance of self worth. But I want you to be able to share this recording with a teenager, someone you know who would benefit the importance of putting value on yourself. So Travell, at what point, I believe based on your story, you were struggling with your self-worth. But at what point in your journey did you realize that, listen, I am this worthy, amazing, brilliant, awesome young lady, despite what others may say? Because you spoke about those stones that were thrown at you, becoming a teenage mom. We know in Jamaica, people talk a lot and they treat you some kind of way. But when and how did you get to develop that self confidence and, your self worth?
Okay. So I actually, it was a process. It didn't happen overnight. So it's not something that it just magically comes about. It's something, it was a process for me because it was so deep rooted, within me, that I was not worthy of anything good within myself. I felt that way, and I was not good enough. And so for me, the big change happened after I had my second child, really. So if you'd like me to share more on that.
We would love to hear it. We would love to hear your story.
Okay. So growing up, I never really had much self-confidence as a young woman. And I felt tainted growing up as a child because of some childhood experiences and trauma that I went through. You can go to my channel and check it out. But growing up, I always felt tainted. I always felt like I wasn't good enough, that nobody would love me really because I did not feel like I was worthy at all. And so that became very embedded in me at a very young age. By the time I got to teenage years, where you are on the road to self discovery and finding out your place in society and where you stand and who you are, where you belong. I was so conflicted and confused, and it led me down the path of trying to find belonging and love in the wrong places. And so I got pregnant very early at the age of 16, as Coach Hillett said previously. And that even dampened my self esteem even more because in those days you get pregnant, even now there's so much stigmatization attached to that. There's so much demonization attached to the young female that is not sometimes even attached to the guy. And most
Yes.
of these men are much older than the women, I must add, these young ladies. So I went through that. I was demonized, I was ostracized, I was discriminated against, just to put it mildly.
Mm,
There were times that I felt like, as a person, I did not have anything at all to offer to society because my life was over. And thankfully, through the help of my church and my mother, that was a very praying person, she supported me. I went back to high school, got my subjects. And as I said, it was not an overnight change that happened within me. It was something that I had to build, something that I did not have from the beginning, really, because I felt like that was taken away from me at a very young age, my self worth. And so I was on the pathway basically to discovery after I had my first child, and just building on that as I grew older. Um,
wow.
yes, if
Go
you want
ahead.
me to.
Go ahead. I'm just being impressed. I'm like, can I be more impressed with this young lady? We have persons joining. Speaking Grace TV, say hello, sweetlet. Listen to me. These persons are connecting from the UK. I am so happy to have you on. I know it's very late where you're connecting. We have I saw somebody recreate. Yes, beautiful mother with her. Listen, these are channels that you need to, if you're here, just click on these persons, check out their channels. Awesome people. And I'm sure some of them will be featured here at some point. This is Ishah Oasis, guys. I know that some of you heard about it being Femme Oasis, but I changed the name. Ishah is Hebrew. And I learned that on Joe Ensley's channel. And I had to do my research on it. But yes, everything comes at the right time. But we have here Trevell Duncan. She's a dental hygienist. But she is not just a woman who rose to, a career where, of course, when you speak of being a dental hygienist, Trevell, I know that persons are, wow, awesome, that speak of you being achieved, all of that, because she went, she studied. But she has a story. This is a young lady who got pregnant at the age of 16, and she was struggling with her self-worth. And she was just sharing with us her journey of coming into herself, of finding out that, listen, I am not what society labeled me to be. I am not this person who, your life is over. Persons giving up on you. I know you failed persons in your family, your community, your church. I know persons were like, look at this good bright girl. Because of course, based on your academic prowess, it's obvious that you had this potential. Persons knew that you were on a path, but you had a hiccup in the form of a pregnancy. And I want persons who are here tonight, even if you're not a teenager or you have fallen this way, I know you know somebody who can benefit from this conversation. Trevell Duncan is that person who can tell any young lady that, listen, it is worth it to push on. You are worth it. But Trevell, listen, I will continue talking and it's about you. Let me greet Melissa Dunkley Smith, she has just published her book, Strong Girl Get Up. Strong Girl Get Up. I don't know, Melissa, you would want to connect with Trevell as well because her story will inspire those young ladies that you will be ministering to. Bless you, Trevell. Such an inspiring story. Yes, certainly. So, Trevell, you were telling us about your path to self discovery and on your journey to self worth. I had to greet my guests. I had to interject a bit, but please
Right.
continue.
Okay. So, um, I'm sorry. After I got pregnant, went through high school, I already said that, right? I got 9 subjects. And at the time, we were coming from a very poor background back in St. Mary, very rural St. Mary. And we didn't have
In
much.
Jamaica, that is, guys. We are Jamaicans.
So my parents could not afford to send me on to sixth form. And sixth form is where you would normally do grade 12 and you would matriculate to go into a program at university. It is not mandatory, however, it puts you ahead if you want to matriculate into some programs, like, for example, medicine, which I wanted to join. So for me, I could not go on to sixth form because they couldn't afford it. I was no one mother. I had to provide for another child in the heights of the poverty that we were already experiencing. And it was just
Another
hard.
child, because you yourself was a child. So a child that,
Exactly.
yeah.
Another child. Yes. So after leaving St. Mary High School, I went on to work for a year. And I worked for a year, just to try to see if I could, get myself, in a better place financially and just to take care of my responsibility. I always felt like there was a calling on my life to do more and to be of more to society. And even so, I was so, what should I say, downcast. I was so depressed. I was so low that even though I felt that way, it was like everything else overshadowed my true purpose and my true calling, because now society sees me as this bad egg, this bad black sheep, this come to nothing person, this no ambition girl. You know, I look young for my age, and at that time, at the age of 16, 17, I looked probably like about 13, 14, if you would imagine. So the first time they see you breastfeeding your child, or just having your child and that child calling your mommy, and they look at you and you see the stare, and, oh, I don't want my daughter to be associated with this person. She's bad company. Look where she has gone. Look at the route that she's taken. And so I had very little to no self-worth, guys. Um, Working at the library, I got a job with Jamaica Library Service, and after about a year, I think it was 11 months, my church elder at the time said to me, "Why don't you apply for the NCB Foundation scholarship?" And I was like, "No, I'm not that bright. I'm not that intelligent. That's so prestigious. That's something that, people like me don't really achieve. It's not within my range." He actually forced me to apply, and I applied on the last day, the deadline, because I told myself I was wasting time even bothering to do this. I had absolutely no self-confidence. And I applied. I got called, surprisingly. I did not expect it. I forgot about it. I went for the interview for my scholarship at the Pope Maria branch in St. Mary. And they were wowed when I spoke. And so I became
Look
the
at how
representative
you're wowing
for
us now,
St. Mary.
Trevell.
Thank you. And yes, so I became the scholarship recipient for my parish, and I went on to represent on a national scale, in which I was called back by NCB several times, as recently as a year ago, to work for them, to do work for them, to do foundation work. I'm always a part of the foundation, even though I'm away now, but I'm always there. So I've been active in the NCB Foundation, and that somehow lifted me and made me feel like, yeah, you still got it. You can do it same way. And I went on to college. First year, as I explained before, doing biochemistry at NCU, did not have the financial resources, had to drop out. Then I went on to UTech. I discovered dental hygiene, and I didn't like it at first, guys. But let me tell you something. When God places a calling on your life, when
Oh,
God is,
sweet.
this is
Preach,
what I
sister.
want for you, you cannot run from it, you know? Sometimes what we have in mind for ourselves is not what God has for us. And so we have to learn to submit ourselves to Him and His will. And still going to school, having very low self esteem. By now, I was
Hold on a bit, Trevell. We are getting some great feedback from the ladies in the chat. You know, I think we create. She wants us to know that her husband is Jamaican as well. So whole heap of Jamaican vibes in the house, and we have persons saying that listen, God knew exactly who you were. Isn't that awesome? And I want to just piggyback on that point. That definitely it is so obvious that God has a calling. Well, He has a calling on all of us. I want all my ladies to know that. And that's why you're here this evening to inspire, to let ladies know that no matter what you have gone through, and I see new people. Persons joining that we have Trevell here. She's a dental hygienist, and we're going to be talking about oral health. Don't worry, but we're talking now about self-worth. This is a lady who she was pregnant at the age of 16, and she has gone through it. You know, she knows what it is to be stoned. She knows what it is to go through shame. But God had a calling. And listen, you know, I like the fact that your elder insisted. And we talk about destiny helpers. God
yes,
always wants people to lift us up. He has never rejected us. He has never left us on the fringes to die. And I am so happy that you were able to have people around you who believed in you, people around you. God sent the destiny helpers through the foundation, and they see, look, the diamond in you, Trevell. And I want my ladies to know that, listen, here on Ishah Oasis, all of us, we have a diamond crown. We have a diamond crown wearing. God has great plans for our lives. Yes, if you're coming in now, please fix your crown as you come. And we have Lady Trevell Duncan here. Joycelyn Cumberbatch, she said, oh, yes, God has a calling on all of us. Hallelujah. I enjoyed her Halitosis feature. There are persons checking out your videos already, sweetheart. You have fans here already. So my thing here giving me a problem from evening. But anyway, Trevell, go ahead because I want you to wrap up that self-worth story because I know persons want to hear about the dazzling smile to lift the confidence. So go ahead.
yes. Where was I? So I, yes, went to UTech,
You
studying dental hygiene, and I found myself in a string of bad relationships because, hey, I'm thinking that I'm not really worth much, so nobody's gonna really love me. So the standards weren't really high, you know. And over the years, I have grown to realize whether it's your job, whether it's your family, whether it's friends, whatever interaction or relationship you have with people, if you don't believe that you are worth it, they will treat you accordingly, right?
Hmm.
And your past does not determine how far you'll go in the future. I shared on my video that there is a reason why your rear view mirror is so small and your windshield is so big. Because, guys, where you're going is much more important than where you're coming from. So it doesn't matter what people have done to you, what has happened to you in the past, and it took me a while to understand this. It has no bearing on who you will be and what God has destined you to be in life. So
Hmm.
that was me on my path to self discovery, on my path to gaining self esteem and self worth. And after having my second child and going through postpartum depression, being totally, basically, what should I say, abandoned by the father of my child at that time. And I'm just sharing it with you, women, as real as it gets, because some of us are so scared to speak about our experiences. But I'm here to speak about it and tell you that you're not alone, okay, guys?
Fire, you know, guys. This is Ishah Oasis. This is where you come to get nourished. This is the place to come when the desert of life, guys. When you come here, you're supposed to leave so refreshed. And I am so excited to have Trevell Duncan this evening. She is dropping some sweet points. We are feasting from this oasis. I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. Persons are sending you hugs. Persons are there cheering you and telling you to preach. So continue.
Yes, guys, thank you very much. So after having my second child and going through that traumatic experience, I realized that, hey, snap out of this. You are, in fact, God spoke to me so directly. He spoke to me through a passage of scripture. By then, I had gone out of the church. I was in rebellion against God, based on just
Smoking weed. When I learned that this girl was smoking, I was like, what are you saying to me? One interview that we're doing today with Trevell, and listen, Lady Teresa said I must have you on my mama's program. You already booked for another program, Trevell. But yes, guys.
Yes, so I was in total rebellion. If there is something that you can think of doing, I probably, not that I was the worst of the worst, but I probably have done it in my life. As far as going out there in sin and living and doing whatever I please. And Trevell was in total rebellion against God. And basically, God had to show me and bring me back through even, tough experience. Sometimes He shows us through tough love, you
Tough
know,
luck.
that, yes, that we have gone astray and that we need to come back and give us a reality check. Because here was I battling up all this pain, all this hurt, all this anguish that was so deep rooted within myself, you know and I could not really see things for what it really was. I could not really appreciate life for what it really was until this situation came to me. And after I experienced that, having my son and being alone and all of that, I realized God spoke to me very directly through Isaiah 54. And I have this relationship with God where He will bring me exactly to the scripture reading, like my eyes just meet that section
Hmm.
specifically. Yes. So it was Isaiah 54, verse 4 onwards. And when I got that scripture, and it spoke very directly to me, and how God esteemed me, and how God made me feel, and made me know that I am so worthy, and that He's my husband, and He will take care of my children,
Hmm.
and He will provide, and no tongue that weapon formed against me, no tongue that rise up against me shall prosper. Listen to me, I had to be shouting hallelujah in my house. I was living in an
Hallelujah.
apartment at that time, and I wonder if they were wondering if I was crazy, because God just reached out in love and said to me, "Say, listen to me. You are my child. In fact, I am your husband. You're rejected. I am your husband. I am the father of your children." And so, me knowing that I am royalty and I am the best of the best, and I am actually the creator's wife, I'm also his daughter. He's my provider. I don't have to depend on anybody. And if I am among royalty, I have to act like royalty. I have to
Praise
think like
God.
royalty. And
Yes.
so my whole perspective changed because I realized that God still loves me. You may not love me, He may not love me, but God loves me and He
Praise
has a
God.
purpose for my life. And that was when my big wake up call came about.
Praise God. Oh my gosh. This is giving me goosebumps, guys. And I was just there watching the time because I speak of the first half is about self-worth. And I'm sure we have got more than a mouthful. I know that Nadia and Lady Teresa, her skin is on fire because trust me, you're telling her story. She's there in the chat saying you're telling her story. It's true. She always talk about God being her husband and all of that. We have Fel, who is a dental hygienist. She just jumped on and she came just in time, Trevell, because she wants to hear you speak from the perspective of a dental hygienist. Speaking Grace is saying hallelujah. Virgo, I'm really enjoying this program. There are so many persons who are really being blessed by your words.
Thank
Melissa said, preach. People are just being moved. Trevell, I see you going far. I see you just growing in God. And I'm so happy that I got the chance to connect with you. Jocelyn, she's connecting from Barbados. She says, best daddy in the world. He's our
Yes.
everything. She's burning up for a powerful story. So Fel is saying, hey, Hilly, hey, Fel. So yes, we have another dental hygienist in the house, and she will be joining us at some point too. Welcome, welcome to Ishah Oasis. Guys, you have escaped from the desert of life. You're here to refresh, to renew. And listen, let me tell you something. I hosted a program on Facebook yesterday, Author's Nest. And I have to tell you guys that I was saying probably I shouldn't be hosting two programs behind each other. I felt a bit funny to the burnt out. And I was tempted at times to call Trivial and say, hey, we're going to cancel for next week. But God wouldn't have it because this message was for tonight. Jesus is the source we create. Fel say, hey, Trivial, can't wait to meet you. So many people can't wait to meet you. Her
Hi,
YouTube
Belle.
channel, guys, is inspired for purpose. I know that she's going to pass 100 subscriptions after tonight. Melissa Dunkley is saying hallelujah. So we're going to go into her speaking now from the perspective of a dental hygienist. We're calling out the career woman. We saw her moving from this little girl, shame, hurt, cast down, giving birth at the age of 16, having society trampling, kind of just saying, hey, you bad egg, you black sheep. This is a girl who beat the odds. She left high school with her 9 subjects. She got a scholarship, went to NCU.
Sorry about my shaky camera,
University.
guys. Trying to situate my camera. I'm so
It's
sorry.
fine.
Yes,
You
please
fix
go
yourself,
ahead.
darling. Fix it, fix it. But here it is that teen mom, overcoming the odds and going to UTech. And overall, she has acquired 4 scholarships, guys. Bright girl. I'm sure we're happy, and we see her connected to God. She's anointed. And so, Travell, a lot of people, they're not smiling. A lot of young ladies, they are having different kind of issues. You spoke about halitosis in one of your video. Fel watched it and she said, simple, concise. She loved what you delivered. And yes, Fel wanted to, mixing up now. Travell and Fel. Travell would like to share with us some tips as ladies to boost our confidence through oral health. Talk to us, Travell.
Yes, I want to say for those who are just joining, welcome and thank you guys for having me here on this platform where I can share. So, switching hats, guys. I'm a dental hygienist now, okay. So, first, we need to understand and have an appreciation of what exactly is oral health. Oral health refers to not just your mouth, but is a window to overall health. According to the CDC, oral health is described as having overall health and also well-being and living a good quality of life. So it's not just confined to your teeth and your tongue. Okay, guys? So let's first understand that. Um, for us as women, I must say that oral health is important for anybody right across the board, men and women alike. But for us, when I was studying about oral health, a lot of us do not realize how much oral hygiene sometimes is important. How much visiting your oral hygienist or your dentist twice every year is important to your health, because of course we think that oral health is just confined to your mouth, guys, and that is wrong. Studies have shown that oral health is directly linked to heart disease, which women are 6.5 times more at risk than men. So you need to bear that in mind and
Hmm.
get your teeth checked and cleaned every once in a while. Let me explain a little further. There is this disease called infective endocarditis, where your the bacteria, I'm sorry, I'm just a little nervous. The bacteria in your mouth, guys, if you have periodontal disease, right, it will build up and it will travel to your bloodstream and cause an inflammation within your heart muscles. So that can be quite fatal and detrimental to your health at the same time. So it's very important for women us as women and men too, but I'm speaking to our ladies this evening. So go and get your oral health screenings, go and get your health checks. A lot of us don't know that oral health and Alzheimer's have a direct link as well, caused from a bacteria, same bacteria, guys. It literally goes to your brain and eats away that area that causes Alzheimer's disease. So you always want to think about oral health as you get older. And of course, if you did not take it as seriously when you're young, you want to take it seriously as you get older. They say that women are disproportionately affected by Alzheimer's disease. So nearly 2/3, right, of more than 5 million Americans that are affected by Alzheimer's disease are women. So it's very important to bear oral health in mind when you're thinking about, especially if your family is predisposed to Alzheimer's disease. We want to touch on also the topic of the psychological impact of having poor oral health. So a lot of us, we have like stomach ulcers or we suffer from diabetes, um, which leads to xerostomia, or we suffer from many other health issues that sometimes impact our oral health, in that we have bad breath. And a lot of times people are not educated enough to know that because you have bad breath is not necessarily because of poor oral hygiene. It can be from systemic factors, as I listed before, diabetes, because there's increased amount of sugar in the blood. There is always food for these bacteria to eat that is in your mouth. So because there's increased amount of sugar in the blood, of course, there will be increased amount of sugar in your saliva. So they will always have food to eat. Even after you just brush your teeth, there is food available there. So for women with diabetes, you want to think along the lines of always using antimicrobial mouth rinse. You always want to think about getting regular health checks, probably more often than the average person, maybe every 3 months instead of every 6 months. Um, there's also the topic of miscarriage among women. It's linked to oral health. Studies have shown, guys. Yes. So you want to think about, if you're thinking about having a baby, you want to always make sure before you plan ahead before, I'm sorry, getting your a visit or oral health check with your dentist or your dental hygienist. And that goes from having anti-inflammatory agents, not anti, sorry, inflammatory agents in your blood that is passed through your placenta to the child and can sometimes cause miscarriage. So you can read up more about that because I don't want to take up all the time. But
She dropping
yes.
some bombs here. Here am I calling on dental hygienists because I want to talk about, smiles and confidence and whatever. I didn't know we are going to get into some deep rooted. Wow, I'm here with my notebook, and I'm going to have to call her later and ask her to repeat some. I have this to watch. But Trevell, come here now. I am in awe. And your dental hygienist friend, she's saying, don't be nervous, you're doing a spectacular job. I'm not going to stop you, but someone was asking about tonsil stones, and you addressed it in one of your videos before, but you're going to talk because we want persons who are throwing their questions to get their answers tonight. So guys, whatever questions you have for the dental hygienist, as you can see, she's very professional. Throw them, guys, she will answer them.
Okay. Yes, tonsil stones is something that predominantly affects children. However, it affects adults alike too. And studies have shown that because there's an increased amount of milk in children's diet, there is a increased likelihood of them developing tonsil stones. Simply because your tonsils are at the back of your throat or your oral pharyngeal area, if you want to get technical, and their purpose is to really clean that area, keep it clean, free from all infections and foreign particles. Over time, if they're feeding on a lot of milk or a lot of calcium filled material, that area becomes hardened. All of that collection of whatever that is there, it becomes calcified. And we call that a tonsil stone because over time it builds up. Now imagine you having all kind of foreign particles, all kind of infectious agents in that area. It will give off an odor after a while if it begins to collect and if it's not draining properly, you know. So you have what we call tonsil stones existing, and that is something that causes halitosis as well, guys. So if you are having halitosis, of course, you can always check with your oral health care provider. Sometimes you can even see it. I wouldn't advise you to pick it because you can maybe try to damage, not try to damage, you can maybe damage yourself trying to pick it out. So tonsil stones is another big thing that does contribute to halitosis, guys. Um, Yes. Is there any
The,
other
the,
questions?
the person that was asking how you deal with it, because if you're not picking it, or how you deal with it.
Okay, sometimes it does like pop out on its own where you can be doing any activity or just rinsing your mouth and it just comes out. Um, or if that does not happen, as I said before, do not try to remove it on your own. It's always best to speak with your oral health care provider because sometimes you try to use implements to pick it out or to get it out and it causes further damage to the area. And you don't want to end up in the ER for that, guys. So I would suggest speak with your oral hygienist or speak with your dentist. Yes.
But I think you mentioned earlier that if you reduce, not earlier in your video, if you reduce the what you call them, of milk and stuff like that, dairy products, that you could actually reduce having them.
Right. So, as I said, dairy does contribute, studies have shown. So, tonsil stones are the likelihood of you developing tonsil stones, which is why it's so dominant among children than adults because they constantly feed on milk. But I cannot say to you that if you stop drinking milk, you'll stop having tonsil stones, of course, because while diet is important and contributes to it as well, there can be other physiological factors that do contribute to tonsil stones, including sinusitis.
All right. Okay. So, Hope Reed, and listen to me. She's another professional. I know she's some therapist. Hope. Let me not even guess. You can put it. Let me read it. But she said salt water gargle may help with tonsil stones too. And
Yes.
she, right. Hope Reed speaks a lot about health, and she's a health person. Check her out, guys. We have a lot of amazing people here. Speaking Grace TV, two ladies, they're friends or relatives, but I love tuning into them. They are so passionate about God. Please check them out. This is a great place for us to connect as YouTubers or persons who are watching. Please connect. But Trevell, I am so happy to have you here because we as ladies, we have so much that we need. Life gets hard, things happen, we have our health to consider. There's so many things that we have kind of going against our whole existence, and it does grate on our self-worth and our confidence. And so a lot of people, they I want to talk about the smiles and all that kind of thing. I want you to touch that, give us tips so we can get our teeth dazzling like yours. But she spoke about bad breath, and in her video, this was a part that I was so happy when she spoke about us being more kind or kinder to persons, because she has just explained that sometimes persons have deep-rooted issues. It's not that they're not brushing, flossing, and all of that, but there are other factors that contribute to them having halitosis or bad breath. And Trevell, you were saying that as ladies, we can be kinder to each other. If we know somebody, a female or a male, but as ladies now we're connecting here in the Oasis, that
Right.
listen, friend, tell us some ways, Trevell, because I know that you mentioned some that we can break it to someone who is suffering from those issues, how we can, kind of reach them to say, hey, it's something is kind of offish there, because we don't want them to go being embarrassed otherwise.
So, on the topic of halitosis, guys, just to backtrack a little bit before I answer your question, Um, there can be, it's not just confined to the mouth. So systemic factors can contribute to halitosis, meaning that you can have other illnesses apart from mouth issues, oral issues, that do contribute to halitosis, such as diabetes, xerostomia or dry mouth, um, overeating, being overweight, so, and diet, of course.
Exercising.
Yes. So
I got
there, and stomach ulcers. I'm sorry, I forget stomach ulcers. Yes, can contribute to halitosis. So it's not just about poor oral hygiene. Back to your questions about how do we treat somebody that is suffering from halitosis. You have to do it like anything with anything else, a lot of love, a lot of tact, because guys, your mouth is something that you don't get twice, you don't, it's a very sensitive topic. And so if you're going to speak with somebody or share that, okay, you're experiencing this problem, if you don't feel like you have the knowledge or the know-how, it's always good to, maybe you can give them as a present, send them off, say, hey, I'm sponsoring you a trip to the dentist, you know um
if we cannot.
yeah, my friends, we are gonna get our teeth cleaned. Do you want to come with us too? Do you want to talk to the dentist too? Or if it's somebody that you really love, and when you love and care about people, there's a different approach most of the times, guys. You can sit down and just break it to them very gently and tell them, okay, you're experiencing this problem. I'm not accusing you. It doesn't have to be that your oral hygiene is poor. These are other things that can cause it. Why not let us go and check it out and see what may be causing this issue?
All right. I'm loving it. And I'm sure those who are joining, Fel is saying, yes, Hope, I agreed, because Hope is telling us, oh, she was saying that she loved that you address so much more than just teeth brushing and talks about your overall health being impacted. And Nathan is saying that what you're saying makes sense. Somebody said, I have to laugh. And I'm sure that, I mean, most of us, we have encountered persons with these issues. I, for one, always wonder. And in my ministry, when I was back in Jamaica and I was in the women's ministry, I ensured that we had these conversations to say, check. Even my 12-year-old, he's telling me that one of the ways to check mom is to take your tongue and lick here and smell it, that kind of thing. And I said, really? So why are you checking? He was like, Mom, I don't want a girl smell my mouth. I don't want. So, when you bring awareness and you have a conversation, and I mean, it's a good place to start is with your kids. I
Yeah.
can't leave it out because, we're grooming them. We're talking about friends and that kind of thing. But if you are an influencer, if you are in a sphere where you have conversations, a manager at work, whatever it is, I think it's a good idea to talk about these things that people are more conscious and more aware. I am just enjoying myself too much for somebody who was planning to cancel the show. And I am happy for those who have joined in. Lady Theresa said, loving every bit of this interview. We created, yes, this is lovely. There are many young ladies and grown women who lack confidence because of things like this. So thanks for sharing this. And Cornwallian to the world. What are you addressing? Truth be told, I am happy the masks are mandatory. Oh my gosh. No, talk about that one because there was something that came out. We didn't plan for this, so I'm not gonna put it too much on the spot. If you can address it, please. But someone was saying, I read an article where it says that when persons were speaking against mask wearing, and they're saying that it's dangerous because for persons with halitosis, it can actually cause them to to probably faint away, or to when they're taking all that, it can affect them. Is there anything you want to say about it?
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to really speak on that more than it probably will make them aware if they didn't know.
Aware.
But yes, it will probably bring about some level of awareness, and they will try to resolve the issue. So I'm going to look at it from a positive point of view and say that it's gonna give some information instead.
Yes, 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 yes. And persons, as it says, right in your face, it's right there unless something is wrong with this. But yes, guys, I am so happy, happy, happy because Trevell is here. And for those who miss it, she has still on fire. She put on her professional hat, and she's a bit more serious. But you have to catch us on a replay if you missed the first half because she was preaching. This is a young lady who got pregnant at the age of 16, dropped out of school, went back when her baby was 2 weeks old. She has surmounted the odds. She left high school in fine style with her 9 CXC subjects. For those who are not Caribbean people, CXC is equivalent to O levels. Big deal. It's what you go to high school for, to matriculate to college, that kind of thing. And she acquired 4 scholarships, and she is now a professional, a dental hygienist. She's a motivational speaker, guys. You can contact her. You can find her Trevell Duncan on Facebook. You can go ahead look for her YouTube channel. It's Inspired for Purpose. And I want to say, she was making reference to some of her videos. She spoke about, you know, her self-worth. She spoke about the way you treat yourself. That is how people are going to treat you. I will never forget that. And she made a reference of the rear view as opposed to the screen. So we know the rear view is small, but the windscreen is big. So that is an indication that we should be looking forward and not looking in the past. This young lady did not allow her past to hold her down, to hold her captive. She overcome all the odds. She's a conqueror, she's a fighter. She's an inspiration to so many of us here this evening. I am so happy to have her on Ishah Oasis because this is the place where we highlight ladies who have surmounted the odds, ladies who are trailblazers, ladies who are on a mission. I bless God for your life, Trevell. Amazing testimony. I hope that we will pray for her mission because it's greater and bigger and better for her going forward. Inspired for Purpose message, right? The rear view mirror point powerful. You're an overcomer. Yes, Trevell is a strong girl. If I should follow you guys in the chat, I'll just be reading all these things. We are so grateful. Please like this video, like this, and if you can, go back on the replay and just leave because you've been here. Go back and leave a comment. I would appreciate it. But yes, guys, Trevell, she's gonna give us her little wrap-up talk, what she would like to leave with us as this amazing mother. Sonia Larmondia came, interesting topic. She said, congrats in keeping your dreams alive.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
We're gonna have some more amazing ladies here, guys. If you want to be featured, let me know. This is the place for us to just bond as ladies and inspire each other. Go ahead, Trevell.
Okay. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for the outpouring of love and support. I really appreciate it. In closing, I want to say for us as women, especially when we become mothers, when we become wives, some of the times we get so caught up in taking care of everybody and making sure that everybody is okay. And oral health already doesn't really have much weight sometimes in the eyes of many. And so that's the last thing some of us think about taking care of. And so I implore you, as I explained today to you, that oral health can lead to so many other diseases. And just by going and having your oral health screenings, you can be made aware if you're having certain diseases. I can talk about oral cancer, I can talk about HIV, can talk about so many other diseases that just by congestive heart failure, um, just going to have an oral health screening that it can shed light on if you are experiencing this. And of course, statistics have shown that women, in general, are more predisposed to certain illnesses versus men. So, ladies, while you're busy taking care of the household and being the boss woman and the awesome person that you are, remember to take care of your oral health as it relates to you being confident and smiling and loving every day and appreciating it and just, um, just appreciating life every day as it comes and savoring the moments. That's the word that I was trying to remember. You know, remember that you are important. Remember that there's a calling on your life. You are destined for greatness, really. Allow God to be the pilot. Allow him to charter your path in your life. These are just my few words. I don't know if there's any questions that you guys would like to share. And just remember, guys, no matter what you go through, no matter what you have gone through, there's nothing too hard for the Lord to do. He has put you through the test to make it into a testimony, right? He has put you in through the storm to make you a victor. So do not be downcast. Do not think of yourself as you're not good enough. Do not think of yourself as you're not enough for anybody, because how others treat you has no bearing on who you are as a person. You are not what they did to you. I said that in my video the last time. You're not what other people have done to you, right? What they have done, you had no control over it. Stop being guilty about it. Stop being downcast about it. Stop putting yourself down about it. All right? You take care of yourself, guys.
I could not said it better. Latter Day Revival, you came in a little late. Connecting from UK. Thanks for joining. We have persons connecting from Canada, Phil. We have persons from Barbados. And my friend Info1226 says, love your water glass. It's up. Listen to me. I asked her for some water before I came on. And Trevell, she is my witness. And Star said, Mom, you have to be fancy. And Star brought this for me to have my water in. So, yes,
Yes,
she is
it
in
is.
line with the queendom with all this awesomeness, guys. Listen to me. Remember to straighten your crown and straighten another sister's crown. We could be doing this much longer, but we have to cut off here. Fel was asking, when is the next live? It's every Monday, guys, 7:30 p.m. And next week, I believe we'll be having my favorite Nigerian, Happy. She is a relationship coach. You don't want to miss it. She is fun. And Joycelyn said, take care of you first, then take care of others. Put on your life jacket and they help others put theirs on. God has a
Amen.
great work for you. He is waiting. Just say, I will go. Yes. Better late than never, latter day revival. Welcome, sister. Yes. So, my guys, my friends, my people, Ishah people, thanks for coming to the Oasis. It's a pleasure. Trevell, you outdid yourself. This has exceeded my expectations. I feel like we're going to have a part two with you. But yes, guys, thanks for joining. I appreciate your time, your love. Continue to pray for the ministry. Remember to leave the comments, and I appreciate everybody telling me when you're having a live. I don't want to miss your live because we want to support each other. Remember to check out Trevell's YouTube channel, Inspired for Purpose, and let us connect and just, lift up each other as women. And we have men in the house supporting as well. Thanks for the love. See you guys. Love you all. Bye.
Bye bye.